Hey guys, let me ask you something. Do you remember being in your 20s? You could drink a pot of coffee at midnight, finish a project or cram for an exam, sleep for 3 hours, and bounce out of bed the next morning ready to conquer the world. Now you have 1 cup too many after lunch, and you find yourself staring at the ceiling at 2 a.m., your mind racing, calculating the exact number of minutes of sleep you'll get if you can just fall asleep right now. What happened? Did coffee get stronger? No, we got older. And our bodies started playing by a different set of rules. If you've ever felt that your daily caffeine habit feels less like a reliable tool and more like a roll of the dice, then I need you to stick with me for the next few minutes. I promise you, this is one of the most important conversations we can have about your health and performance as a man over 40. I understand the pressure to perform, to stay sharp, and to have the energy to keep up with work, family, and everything in between. And for most of us, caffeine is our go-to co-pilot. But here's the critical truth we're going to unpack today. The way you used caffeine at 25 can be actively sabotaging your health, your sleep, and your hormones at 45. In this video, we're going to pull back the curtain on exactly how caffeine affects your body. Now we'll expose the hidden dangers lurking in those popular energy drinks that are everywhere. And most importantly, I'm going to give you a simple, strategic playbook on how to use caffeine to actually boost your performance, not just borrow energy from tomorrow. If that sounds like a conversation worth having, do me a quick favor and tap that like button. It's a small click for you, but it makes a huge difference for the channel, and I guarantee the information I'm about to share will be a game changer for you. All right, let's get right into the science, but I'll make it simple. Why does that same cup of coffee hit you so differently now? 4 main things have changed in your body: your metabolism, your sleep sensitivity, your cardiovascular system, and your stress response. First, let's talk about metabolism. When you drink caffeine, your liver gets to work breaking it down, primarily using an enzyme called CYP1A2. Think of this enzyme as a team of workers on a factory line, disassembling the caffeine molecules. In our youth, that factory was running at full tilt, 24/7. But as we age, the efficiency of that factory can start to decline. For many of us, our liver produces less of this enzyme, or it just doesn't work as quickly. This brings us to a concept called half-life. The half-life of a substance is the time it takes for your body to eliminate 50% of it. For caffeine in a healthy young adult, the half-life is typically about 3 to 5 hours. So if you had a 100 milligrams cup of coffee at 9 a.m., by 2 p.m., you'd have about 50 milligrams left in your system. By 7 p.m., maybe 25 milligrams. But for a man over 40, especially if you're a slow metabolizer of caffeine, which is a genetic trait many of us have, that half-life can stretch to 6, 7, or even 8 hours. Now do the math on that. You have a cup of coffee at 2 p.m. By 10 p.m., when you're trying to wind down, you could still have half of that caffeine, a full 50 milligrams or more, circulating in your bloodstream. Your body is still very much caffeinated, even if you don't feel that classic buzz. This leads directly to the second, and arguably most important, point: sleep disruption. This is the silent killer of men's health over 40. You might think, I drink coffee in the afternoon, and I fall asleep just fine. Falling asleep and getting high-quality restorative sleep are 2 completely different things. Caffeine is an adenosine antagonist. Adenosine is a neurotransmitter that builds up in your brain throughout the day, creating sleep pressure. It's what makes you feel sleepy. Caffeine works by blocking the receptors for adenosine. It's like putting a piece of tape over the keyhole, so the adenosine key can't get in. Even when the caffeine levels drop enough for you to finally fall asleep, it's still hanging around, partially blocking those receptors. The result? It dramatically reduces the amount of deep sleep and REM sleep you get. Deep sleep is when your body physically repairs itself. It's when you produce up to 75% of your daily growth hormone, which is critical for maintaining muscle mass, repairing tissues, and keeping your metabolism fired up. REM sleep is for your brain. It's where you consolidate memories, process emotions, and mentally recharge. When you consistently disrupt these stages with caffeine, you wake up feeling off. You're not as sharp, your mood is worse, your workouts suffer, and you reach for, you guessed it, more caffeine to compensate. It creates a vicious cycle of being tired and wired. It's like trying to charge your smartphone overnight, but the charger is faulty, and it only gets to 60%. The battery icon looks full, but you know it's not going to get you through the day. That's what most guys over 40 are doing to their brains and bodies every single night, without even realizing it. Third, let's talk about your heart and blood pressure. Caffeine is a stimulant. It triggers the release of adrenaline, which causes your heart to beat faster and your blood vessels to constrict. This combination temporarily raises your blood pressure. When you were 25 and your cardiovascular system was pristine, this little bump was no big deal. But now, at 40, 45, or 50, many of us are already dealing with lifestyle factors that push our blood pressure up. We might have a little extra weight, more stress, or maybe our diet isn't perfect. Adding multiple caffeine hits throughout the day puts extra, unnecessary strain on your heart and arteries. It's like constantly revving your car's engine into the red for a few seconds, multiple times a day. Over time, that causes wear and tear. Finally, there's the anxiety and stress response. That same adrenaline rush from caffeine also spikes your primary stress hormone, cortisol. In small, acute doses, that's fine. It's the fight-or-flight response. But as we age, our bodies can become less resilient to stress. The same dose of caffeine that used to give you a clean, focused buzz can now push you over the edge into feeling jittery, anxious, and irritable. If you're chronically drinking caffeine from morning till night, you're keeping your cortisol levels artificially elevated. Chronically high cortisol is a disaster for men. It tells your body to store fat, especially around the belly, it breaks down muscle tissue, and it can interfere with testosterone production. So that coffee you think is helping you power through your day might actually be contributing to the very things you're trying to fight: fatigue, weight gain, and declining vitality. The takeaway here is simple. Your body has changed. The old playbook is obsolete. Continuing to use caffeine like you're 25 is a recipe for poor sleep, hormonal imbalance, and long-term health issues. Okay, let's shift gears and talk about the elephant in the room. The brightly colored cans that are in every gas station, every grocery store, and in the hands of so many guys at the gym or on the job site. I'm talking about energy drinks. If a regular cup of coffee is like revving your engine, chugging one of these is like strapping a rocket to the roof of your car and hoping for the best. From a medical perspective, these drinks are a nightmare, especially for our age group. The marketing is brilliant, I'll give them that. They use words like performance blend, focus matrix, and thermo energy formula, and they plaster the can with images of extreme sports and peak physical fitness. But when you ignore the hype and look at the label, you find a trifecta of trouble. A massive caffeine dose, a ridiculous amount of sugar or chemical sweeteners, and a cocktail of other ingredients that are mostly window dressing. Let's start with the caffeine. A standard 8-ounce cup of coffee has about 95 milligrams of caffeine. A can of Red Bull has about 80 milligrams. That's not too crazy. But the market has exploded. Brands like Bang, Reign, and C4 are pushing cans with 200 milligrams, 300 milligrams, and in some cases, even more. The FDA recommends a safe upper limit of 400 milligrams of caffeine for the entire day. You can blow through 75% of your daily limit in the 5 minutes it takes to down one can. And it gets sneakier. Many of these drinks contain other caffeine sources, like guarana, yerba mate, or green tea extract. They might list caffeine anhydrous at 200 milligrams, but the proprietary energy blend contains these other ingredients, which adds even more caffeine that isn't always clearly declared. This is called caffeine stacking, and it's how people very quickly get into the danger zone of caffeine toxicity, leading to heart palpitations, extreme anxiety, and even trips to the emergency room. Next up is the sugar. A classic can of Monster Energy has 54 grams of sugar. That's about 13 teaspoons of pure sugar. To put that in perspective, the American Heart Association recommends that men consume no more than 36 grams of added sugar in an entire day. You're getting 1.5 days worth of sugar in a single drink. This causes a massive spike in your blood sugar and a corresponding tidal wave of insulin, the fat storage hormone. Your body scrambles to deal with this sugar bomb, and what follows is the inevitable crash, leaving you feeling more tired than before you had the drink. It's a terrible cycle for your metabolism, promotes inflammation, and is a direct contributor to insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes. But I drink the sugar-free ones. I hear you say. That's the other side of the coin. To get that sweet taste without the calories, these drinks are loaded with artificial sweeteners like sucralose, acesulfame potassium, or aspartame. While the FDA deems these safe, the science is far from settled. Emerging research suggests these sweeteners can negatively impact your gut microbiome, the trillions of bacteria in your gut that influence everything from your digestion to your mood and immune system. Furthermore, they don't stop your brain from craving sweet things. For many people, they just perpetuate the desire for more sweet processed foods. Finally, let's look at the other stuff in the blend. You'll see a long list of B vitamins, often at 2,000% or more of your recommended daily intake. The marketing claims this unlocks energy. Here's the truth. B vitamins are essential for converting food into energy, but unless you have a true clinical deficiency, which is rare in developed countries, taking mega doses does absolutely nothing. Your body is a finely tuned machine, not a bucket. It will take what it needs and exer the rest. You're literally just paying for expensive, neon yellow urine. Then you have ingredients like taurine, L-carnitine, and ginseng. Are these bad? Not necessarily. Taurine is an amino acid that can support cardiovascular health. L-carnitine helps transport fatty acids. Ginseng is an adaptogen. But the doses in these drinks are often either too small to have a real therapeutic effect, or their potential subtle benefits are completely overwhelmed by the sledgehammer effect of 300 milligrams of caffeine and a blast of artificial chemicals. It's like putting premium, high-performance spark plugs in a car and then filling the tank with dirty, low-grade fuel. The fancy ingredients are mostly for marketing. They let the company make claims that sound scientific, but the real energy you feel is just a brute force stimulant hit. The real danger of these drinks for a man over 40 is the sheer, unadulterated shock they deliver to your system. It's an extreme dose of a powerful drug, caffeine, mixed with either a sugar bomb or a chemical cocktail. For a body that may already have some underlying inflammation, borderline high blood pressure, or just the general wear and tear of 4+ decades, this is a dangerous combination. It's a recipe for stressing your adrenal glands, disrupting your heart rhythm, and destroying your sleep. There are far, far better ways to get an edge. Okay, so we've established the problem. Your body has changed, and most commercial energy products are garbage. Does this mean you have to give up that morning cup of coffee you love so much? Absolutely not. It means we need to stop using it mindlessly and start using it strategically. This isn't about deprivation. It's about optimization. I'm going to give you 5 simple rules to make caffeine a powerful ally again. Rule number 1. Wait 90 to 120 minutes after waking. This is probably the single biggest change you can make, and it's a game changer. I know the first thing most guys do is stumble to the coffee pot. Don't. Here's why. When you wake up, your body's natural cortisol level is at its peak. Cortisol gets a bad rap, but in the morning, it's a good thing. It's your body's natural wake-up signal. It makes you feel alert and ready to go. If you dump caffeine on top of that natural cortisol peak, you're not really getting much of a boost. You're just teaching your body that it doesn't need to produce as much cortisol on its own, and you're accelerating your caffeine tolerance. By waiting 90 to 120 minutes, you allow your cortisol to peak and then begin to naturally decline. Then, when you introduce the caffeine, it has a much more powerful effect. You get a real lift, not just a blunting of your natural wake-up process. Try it for a week. It feels different. Rule number 2. The 2 p.m. curfew. This is non-negotiable for our age group. No caffeine after 2 p.m. Period. Remember that caffeine half-life we talked about? Given that it can take 6 to 8 hours or more for your body to clear just half the dose, a 3 p.m. coffee means you could still have a significant amount of caffeine in your system at 11 p.m., actively blocking those adenosine receptors and wrecking your deep sleep. This one rule will do more for your sleep quality, your next-day energy levels, and your hormone balance than almost any other supplement or biohack you can try. If you're craving a warm drink in the afternoon, switch to decaf or herbal tea. Rule number 3. Dose for the occasion. Stop using a sledgehammer when you need a scalpel. You don't need 200 milligrams of caffeine to answer emails. Tailor your dose to the task at hand. For general focus and alertness, 75 to 100 milligrams is the sweet spot. This is about 1 good 8-ounce cup of coffee or a strong cup of black or green tea. Green tea is a fantastic option because it also contains L-theanine, an amino acid that promotes a feeling of calm, focused alertness and takes the edge off the caffeine. For a pre-workout boost, this is one of the best strategic uses for caffeine. A dose of 15. Rule number 4. Hydrate and eat first. Never drink caffeine on a completely empty stomach, especially first thing in the morning, after your 90-minute wait, of course. Caffeine is acidic and can be irritating to the stomach lining. More importantly, drinking it without food can lead to a much faster, sharper spike in your blood sugar and cortisol, which can leave you feeling jittery and then lead to a crash. Always start your day with a big glass of water to rehydrate. Then, have your coffee with or after a protein-rich breakfast. This will slow the absorption of caffeine, giving you a smoother, more sustained energy lift without the jitters. Rule number 5. Cycle your caffeine. If you use any drug every single day, your body builds a tolerance to it. Caffeine is no different. To keep it effective, you need to give your adenosine receptors a break. You don't need to quit for a month. A simple approach is the 5-on, 2-off method. Drink your normal strategic dose from Monday to Friday, and then go caffeine-free on Saturday and Sunday. Or, take 1 full week off every 1 or 2 months. When you come back to it on Monday morning, that first cup of coffee will feel like it did when you were 20 again. It will be potent, effective, and you'll need less of it to get the job done. So let's bring it all home. The way our bodies handle caffeine after 40 is fundamentally different. Our metabolism is slower, our sleep is more fragile, and our stress response is more sensitive. Continuing to use caffeine like a college kid is a surefire way to feel tired, anxious, and stuck. And those energy drinks? For the most part, they are a can of metabolic chaos that has no place in a high-performing man's health plan. But this isn't a message of doom and gloom. It's a message of empowerment. This is about understanding the new rules of the game so you can play it better than ever before. By being strategic, by timing your intake, managing your dose, and taking regular breaks, you can transform caffeine from a mindless habit or a hidden liability into a precision tool. A tool that can sharpen your focus, power your workouts, and give you a clean, effective boost right when you need it most, all without sacrificing the deep, restorative sleep that is the true foundation of your health, your vitality, and your performance. This is about taking control. It's about making smart, informed choices so you can operate at your peak, not just for today, but for the decades to come. I hope you found this breakdown helpful. If you did, and you want more no-nonsense, science-backed health advice to help you thrive in this chapter of your life, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you don't miss what's coming next. Thanks for your time and attention. Stay smart, stay strong, and I'll see you in the next video.